When she was on the stand, at times she became visibly upset, wiping away tears as she gave her evidence.
It started with silence. Not the normal kind of celebrity silence, but the kind that feels loud. The kind that makes people ask questions. Jennifer Lopez, one of the most visible stars in the world, suddenly stepped back. No appearances, no statements, no explanations. And just when people began to wonder why, a courtroom testimony changed everything.
As we talked about it in the first part, there seems to be some misinformation or misunderstanding of what really went down in that trial, what was said, what people were blamed for, and what they were not. I'd love to hear your perspective and specifically kind of what you wish people understood about that trial that maybe they don't at this time.
I mean, even from the very day that the thing took place, because if you notice their mugshots, only Shine Truly has a mugshot. Puffy and J-Lo, Puffy's in front of a concrete wall, J-Lo is in front of a bulletin board in some old t-shirts. Now, I want everyone to think that was the night of the shooting. You don't think at Christmas time, Puffy and J-Lo went out in some old raggedy t-shirts, right? No, there was already a agenda afoot to conceal what they had on, to try to sway the minds of people, to throw your memory off, but they couldn't throw my memory off.
Because what one woman said under oath didn't just shake Diddy's case. It pointed directly toward J-Lo. And what nobody expected was the word warrant being whispered next to her name. For years, the story of Diddy and his past relationships has been filled with rumors, headlines, and unanswered questions. But recently, things have taken a serious turn.
It's real talk. But I gotta ask you, right? I seen a trailer for a Sean documentary that you went in. How did that come about, you being in that documentary?
Well, I was there doing that whole trial with Shine and Puff. Puff said, "I hate that motherfucker." Blake. He told me that. And that's when they was on trial with each other.
The legal pressure around Diddy has been building fast. Lawsuits, testimonies, federal attention. It's no longer just gossip. It's courtroom reality. And right in the middle of this storm is a name everyone knows, Jennifer Lopez. Now, if you rewind back to the late 90s, you'll remember a moment that shocked the entertainment world. A nightclub in New York. A chaotic night. Gunshots, panic, and multiple people injured. At the time, Diddy was directly linked to the incident. Jennifer Lopez was there too. But somehow, she walked away from it all. Untouched. No charges. No long-term consequences.
Sean caused a lot of that stuff himself. And Puff said, "I hate that motherfucker." Blatant. He told me that. And that's when they was on trial with each other.
Well, you never told me about that, man. You seen how Flex, he came out calling Sean a liar?
Well, I think Funkmaster Flex has every right to say what he said because he know a little bit more than most.
Just silence. But here's the twist. That silence didn't mean the story was over. It just meant it was waiting. Fast forward to today. The Diddy case is being reopened in ways no one expected. Witnesses are coming forward, old testimonies are being re-examined, and then came the moment that changed everything. Natania Reuben, one of the victims from that 1999 nightclub shooting, stepped forward and spoke again. Not casually, not in an interview, but under oath. And that's when everything changed. She didn't just talk about what happened that night. She described the chaos, the fear, the confusion. But more importantly, she raised serious questions about who was really involved. According to her testimony, the narrative people believed for years might not be the full truth. And when her words started connecting dots from the past, one name kept coming back into the conversation: Jennifer Lopez. Now, think about that for a second. A global superstar, a carefully built image, years of staying above controversy, suddenly being pulled into a case that many thought was buried forever. But here's where it gets even deeper. Reports began to surface that the court is now taking a closer look at everyone present that night. Not just Diddy, not just the person who was blamed back then. Everyone. And if new evidence suggests involvement, even indirectly, legal consequences could follow. And that's when the headlines exploded. Because according to ongoing claims and discussions around the case, there are talks that a judge could be considering legal action that includes Jennifer Lopez. Not confirmed, not finalized, but serious enough to shake the industry. The idea of an arrest warrant, even being mentioned, is enough to turn everything upside down. And what nobody expected was how quickly public opinion started to shift. For years, many believed that J.Lo was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time, a young star caught in a dangerous moment. But now, people are asking a different question. Was she just there, or did she know more than she ever said? And that question is powerful, because once doubt enters the story, everything changes. As more details from the case began to surface, insiders started talking, quietly at first, then louder. Some claimed that the events of that night were more organized than people thought. Others suggested that key details were hidden or redirected. And while none of this is officially proven, the pattern is enough to make people look twice. And then came another twist. Some reports suggest that back in 1999, the blame may have been placed on the wrong person, that someone else took the fall while others walked away free. Again, allegations, but serious ones. And if that's true, it changes the entire story. Because now it's not just about what happened that night. It's about what happened after. Who spoke, who stayed silent, who benefited, and who paid the price. And suddenly, J.Lo's past connection to Diddy isn't just a celebrity relationship anymore. It's part of a much bigger picture. Now, imagine being in her position right now. Your name is trending. Not for a movie, not for music, but for a case that's being reopened decades later. Every appearance analyzed, every past moment questioned, every silence interpreted. And here's the reality. Silence can be powerful, but it can also be dangerous. Because when you don't speak, others will. And right now, a lot of people are speaking. Some are defending her, saying there's no real proof, that she's being dragged into something unfairly, that this is just another wave of speculation. But others, they're not so sure. They're pointing to the timing, the testimonies, the connections, and they're asking, why now? Why is her name coming up again after so many years? And that question doesn't have an easy answer. Because cases like this don't just reopen for no reason. Something has to trigger it. New evidence, new testimony, or someone finally deciding to speak after years of silence. And when that happens, everything buried starts to rise again. Now, let's talk about the emotional side of this. Because beyond the headlines, beyond the legal talk, there are real people involved. Victims who have lived with trauma for years. People who never got closure. People who are still searching for truth. For someone like Natania Reuben, this isn't just a story. It's her life, her memory, her pain. And standing in court, reliving that moment, that takes courage. And when someone like that speaks, people listen. But on the other side, you have someone like Jennifer Lopez, a woman who built her entire career on strength, resilience, and control over her image, now facing a situation where she doesn't control the narrative anymore. That shift alone is powerful. Because fame protects you until it doesn't. And when it breaks fast. Relationships get affected. Careers get questioned. Trust gets shaken. Even people closest to you start seeing things differently. And we've already seen signs of that. Public appearances changing, distance growing, that confident, always in control image starting to feel uncertain. And that's what makes this story so gripping. It's not just about what happened in a nightclub years ago. It's about how the past can come back when you least expect it. And here's the thing. We still don't know how this ends. Maybe nothing happens. Maybe the allegations fade away. Maybe there's no legal action at all. Or maybe this is just the beginning of something much bigger. Because when courts reopen cases, they don't do it lightly. And when names like this are involved, the impact is massive. So now the question is yours. Do you think Jennifer Lopez is just being pulled into something she had no control over? Or do you believe there's more to the story that hasn't come out yet? Because one thing is certain. This story is far from over.